Phones and apps are designed to keep us glued to the screen for as long as possible. And even though we may think we have the will to step away from them, companies invest billions of dollars every year to make the digital world increasingly more addictive. And it's very hard to constantly have the willpower to reject all the endless distractions inside of our phones. So I've always had an addictive personality, and I used to spend over 3 hours a day on YouTube and even more using my phone. But one day at university, I finally realized that my phone was taking over my life and replacing many of the things that I loved, like playing football or going to dinner with my mates. So I began the Ungluing project, and these are the 5 protocols that I followed to finally break free from my digital addiction. Hola amigos, I'm Diego, a software engineer working in London, and if you're interested in more content like this, make sure you subscribe and join the team. Let's get into it. The first thing I did was truly understand the value of my own time. I integrated the fact that time is the single most precious resource that we have and that we can never make more of it. And I fully understood that the time you spend productively in your 20s or early on in your life will compound throughout the rest of your life and create absolutely crazy results. So I went through a thought experiment that I found online to understand how many hours I was wasting and the value of those hours. I found out that I was wasting around 6 hours per day, and that 80% of people my age were probably within the same range. 6 hours a day times 7 days every week, that's 42 hours every single week. That's an entire work week. Then the exercise ran me through the value of my time, which initially, well, you're a student, you would think is minimum wage. But obviously your time is worth more than that. Firstly, because you're young, and because the time you spend productively when you're young creates a huge impact throughout the rest of your life, because it's an investment now that grows and compounds to create those results afterwards. So I found out that my time was probably worth around $50 an hour, which could be a conservative estimate depending on how you spend your time, but let's stick to 50. So 1 hour wasted now is $50 of future income that you are completely forgoing. So I did some quick math, and the money that I was leaving on the table just by wasting 6 hours every single day came out to be $8,400 every month and around $100,000 every single year. That really shocked me, because as a student, I was working minimum wage and thought that was the value of my time. But when I realized the value of my time was much higher, that the time that I spent productively in my 20s was going to compound to mean perhaps $100,000 every year, that's money that I needed and money that I definitely want. So I finally understood that I was actually rich. I was just not counting the correct thing. I was not money rich, but I was time rich, which I would argue is a lot more valuable, because you can always make more money, but you can never ever make more time. So I started looking for more productive things to replace my screen time. And the cool thing is, you get to choose. You get to define what is productive and what you think will help you achieve your goals and your dreams. So I started with the Japanese concept of Ikigai, a framework aimed at finding your purpose in life. And Ikigai is essentially a Venn diagram with 4 different circles that all intersect. And the 4 circles are the following: what you love, what you're good at, what you can be paid for, and what the world needs. And I started writing a lot of activities within each of these categories and seeing where they would intersect. And then I replaced my screen time with those activities. And understanding the value of my time in this very visual way, understanding that I could be leaving $100,000 on the table, really made me think twice before using my phone to get on YouTube or to mindlessly listen to audiobooks or whatever else I was doing that wasn't actually pushing me towards my dreams. The next thing I would recommend is to add friction to your home screen. To me, friction is one of the strongest forces in the entire universe. And friction means how easy or how hard something is to achieve. So if something has high friction, it's very difficult to get done, and if something has low friction, it's easier to get it done. So if you want to engage in productive activities, make them as frictionless as possible. And if you want to stop engaging in completely waste man, unproductive things, make them as hard as possible to do. So add a lot of friction to it. This is exactly how James Clear recommends you target habit creation in Atomic Habits. So the thing I would actually recommend is you add a lot of friction to your phone's home screen and make those unproductive things as difficult as possible. So I challenge you to do the following: delete all apps that are non-essential in your phone. If you can access that particular app or service within your laptop, then you probably don't need that app to be on your phone. Then remove all non-productive apps from your home screen. So if you want to entirely delete them, that's great. Be that YouTube, social media, Netflix, podcast apps. But you don't have to delete all of them. You can remove them from your library, so at least they're not in your home screen and directly visible every time you open your phone. The next thing, completely completely eliminate email from your phone so you don't have the temptation to go on it and waste time on your phone. Because there's a big difference between being busy and thinking you're productive by checking your email on your phone and actually being productive and completing tasks. This is a trap I've definitely fallen for many, many times. And lastly, delete Spotify and music from your phone. Now, this doesn't mean that you will never listen to music again, never listen to a podcast again, never go on social media again, never watch YouTube. This is just a reset, a bit of a digital detox that will allow you to live your life without these digital distractions that prevent you from actually getting things done. And so I challenge you to live with a bit of a dumb phone, a distraction-free phone for a while, and see how you feel and see how your life improves, see how your performance at work or in your personal life improves, and be very careful with slowly adding those addictive apps back into your life. Then I would make phone use targeted and intentional. So before you log into your phone, make sure you know why you're logging into your phone. So perhaps that is to call my mother, or to listen to my favorite audiobook for 30 minutes, or to send a text to Johnny from work to remind him that he smells. Whatever it is, make sure that you know exactly why you're logging into your phone. And to make your life a little easier, you can add friction to the login process, so make it as slow as possible, so your mind has the time to figure out why exactly you're going to use your phone in this particular instance and make that use intentional and very targeted. So to make that login process slower and prevent you from being able to access your home screen within less than a second, you can eliminate Face ID and your fingerprint to force you to put your passcode every single time you log in and give you those few extra moments to ask yourself, why the hell am I picking up my phone at the moment? Is this going to be productive, or is this going to take away from my goals and ambitions? Maybe you can even add one of those old man Velcro cases to your phone, which adds another step to being able to unlock your phone. You're going to look a little weird, but hey, everything in service of our higher vision. And whatever other thing you can add to the login process and makes it a little slower and allows you to frame that phone session, the better. Because the more targeted and intentional you make your phone use during the day, the less prone you're going to be to actually waste time on your phone. I would also highly recommend you go on a notification detox. This is a protocol I created sort of by chance a few years ago when I was completely addicted to using my phone, particularly YouTube, as I mentioned. The notification detox massively improved my ability to focus at school and at work, because I was no longer being constantly pinged every 2 seconds with a notification that was possibly important and would send my mind into overdrive, so would force me to stop working, check the notification, just to find out that it was another annoying offer from Uber Eats saying that they had a 30% discount in Ahmed's kebab place down the street. And then I would just start thinking about the kebab place and then probably going there for lunch, and my work session would be completely destroyed. So here are the steps you need to take to go on a notification detox. First, turn off all notifications on your phone for 1 week. Set a reminder to review after 7 days on your phone. Now, during the week, you will naturally come across certain situations where you feel the need to have a certain notification open for a particular app. When that happens, make sure you note down what app it is on your notes app on your phone, so you can keep track of which apps you actually felt the need of a notification. And now, resist the temptation to turn on any notification, no matter how important it is, for the period of that 1 week. So after the 7 days, you're going to sit down with your short list of apps where you think you might need notifications. Now, when you're reviewing the list of apps, be as ruthless as possible. Just keep the apps where you absolutely need and are certain you need notifications for. And the other ones that you're unsure or on the fence about, don't turn back the notifications for those. Now that you have your very reduced list of apps where you actually need notifications, turn back the notifications for each of those apps individually and then leave everything else turned off. And make sure that every time you download a new application and the notification pop-up appears, press don't allow. Never allow a new app to send you notifications straight away, because you never know if you're actually going to need it or if it's just going to be a distraction. And that's it. Those are the steps for notification detox. You really thank me after going through this process. It allowed me to completely change my life and my relationship with work and school and study. The last thing I would recommend to reduce your screen time and stop your phone from taking over your life is to schedule really exciting activities during your week. So just go hard, do really cool things. Make sure that during the week you schedule in hobbies and activities that you're really passionate about. If you still find it difficult to get out of the house and stop using your phone and actually going to these activities, perhaps you can join a team sport where you're actually accountable to a team and they will be depending on you to show up. Or maybe even schedule a paid class for dancing, singing, playing an instrument, because for a lot lot of us, when money's on the line, it's a great motivator. And having these really cool activities scheduled into your calendar will not only make your week much more enjoyable and give you something to look forward to, it will also make your digital life and your screen time seem a lot more boring and less tempting. Because the antidote to screen time is real time, I think. And as the saying goes, idle hands are the devil's workshop. So if you have a lot of unstructured time during your week, the possibility that you fall back to old routines and fall back to going back on social media, going back on YouTube and wasting time on your phone increases drastically. So make sure you get some cool hobbies in there. So that's it for today, amigos. If there's any other tips that you have that you follow to break free from digital addiction and stop your phone from taking over your life, make sure to leave them in the comments down below. I would love to know. And if you enjoyed this video, definitely check this one out on how to build a distraction-free iPhone. It's one of the classics and it's been very well received in the channel. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one, amigos.